Hello, welcome to Levant TV headlines. The Syrian army says it has recaptured a major residential quarter in Hasaka from Islamic State insurgents who stormed the strategically located northeastern city last week and drove out thousands of civilians. Turkey is holding a security meeting amid reports that President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is pushing for the creation of a buffer zone along the Turkish border with Syria. Britain has dispatched a Boeing C-17 military transport plane to Tunisia to evacuate tourists wounded in a gun massacre as Prime Minister David Cameron vowed to mount a full investigation. UN envoy Bernardino Leon says he hopes Libya's rival parliaments will endorse his proposals for a unity government later this week after they failed to do so at the weekend. And the UAE court has sentenced an Emirati woman to death for killing an American teacher in December. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting from Beirut, the Daily Sali is reporting that Prime Minister Tamam Salam has called for a cabinet session for Thursday to break a month-long paralysis caused by a dispute over the appointment of security officials. The paper also reports that the Syrian army said it had recaptured a main residential quarter in the strategically located northeastern city of Hasaka several days after its capture by ISIS militants in a lightning assault. From the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that Kuwait has identified the suicide bomber behind an attack on a Shia mosque as a Saudi national after a series of arrests in connection with the blast that left 26 dead. The paper also reports that Iran and the United States have admitted during tense talks on Sunday they are highly likely to miss a looming deadline to nail down a historic nuclear deal as they struggle to overcome major differences. The Egypt Independent leads reporting that Egypt's public prosecutor Hisham Barakat suffered unspecified injuries when a car bomber rammed into his convoy as it was leaving his home in Cairo. The paper also reports that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has issued a decree in Law number 30 of 2015 to increase military pensions by 10% as of July. Now let's have a look at the top Middle East headlines from papers here in London. The Guardian leads reporting that the legality of a bid by the commercial arm of the Ministry of Justice to provide services for Saudi Arabia's prisons is to be challenged in the High Court. The Gulf Center for Human Rights is launching a judicial review of the tender, alleging that the department has no legal power to carry out the activity. And the Telegraph leads Middle East news reporting that Israel says it has blocked a boat leading a 4-vessel protest flotilla of foreign activists from reaching the Gaza Strip and forced the vessel to sail to an Israeli port. An Israeli military statement said there was no violence in the incident, in which troops boarded, searched and then forced the boat to sail to an Israeli port. Also from the UK, the Independent leads Middle East news section reporting that the gunman in the Tunisia attacks was a Real Madrid supporter and hip-hop fan, but became radicalized and posted extremist messages online before finally carrying out the attack that killed 38 people. Saifuddin Rezgui, who was not on any terror watch lists, came from a town renowned as being the center for the ultra-conservative Salafists. And now let's have a look at the top Middle Eastern headlines in international papers. From Germany, the Deutsche Welle reports that Qadir Adnan, the 37-year-old Palestinian who was one of the hundreds of Palestinians detained in a sweep of the West Bank following last year's kidnapping and murder of 3 Israeli teens, has ended his 56-day hunger strike after the authorities promised to release him. And finally, China's Global Times reports that consensus has been reached on most of the elements of the United Nations draft peace agreement on Libya. UN envoy Bernardino Leon told the press conference following the latest UN-backed peace talks in Morocco that an agreement is possible on the main text of the political agreement. And for more updates, please visit Levant.tv. Thanks for watching Press Review, and bye for now.